let's recall. Yeah. So let's recall what we did yesterday. So yesterday we started understanding the what is DevOps, but we have not really understood what is DevOps yet. We just have discussed um, what a DevOps can do, and then we started a story to understand the what is DevOps. To reach to the level what is DevOps, we started a story. In that story, there is a lady called Stella. She has a grocery shop, and she wants a mobile application, but she can't maintain the team of the professionals like developers, designers, testers, and operational guys. That's the reason she reaches to a software firm. In that software firm, she met Kane, who is the head of the dev and operations teams. So Kane explained her about the company, policies of the company, cost they will do, development how they will do, maintenance how they will do, everything he explained to Stella. And then he made Stella to meet John. John is a project manager of development team. So John explained how the product development will be happened. For example, she came for a mobile application. So he explained how the mobile application development will be happened. And then Kane makes Stella to meet Peter, who is the head of the operations team. So this Peter explained to Stella once after the John done with the development, and then the Peter will takes the code and then makes the code available or the app available to the public. So he explained to Stella like how we will do that, and then how they will maintain the latest versions of the mobile application in the cloud, like cloud servers, how they will maintain. He explained. So Stella impressed a lot with all these explanations, and then she's more interested to know how the software development life cycle will be, because he explained how they will start the development, how they will do, and also Stella want to know more. And then John started explaining to her about the software development life cycle process. Someone started your, yeah, thanks. So John started explaining to Stella about the software development process and how the software development process is. Carefully listen. This is Sdlc software development process. Everyone must have to know this. So software development process is a very well-defined and organized process. So there were a total of 6 phases. And of course, here I have break down the first phase into 2 phases. So first phase 1, requirement gathering and then analysis. So Stella came to the software firm, and then Stella met Kane, Stella met John, Stella met Peter, right? So John, Kane, of course, Kane and then John especially will takes the requirements from the Stella. So hey Stella, what do you want exactly? What you are looking for? So can you please explain your product and then product features, and who are the targeted users of your product, and how it will be used, and what is your users requirement? So you have a grocery shop. Did your users ask you to add this feature, that feature in that app? So what is your users requirement? Do you have any separate users requirement? And what is the current state of the market for your app? So these are all the things will becomes under the requirement gathering and analysis. So Stella will explain a high level what she want, how she is looking for an app. So that high level information will be break down into the separate understanding points, and then these questions they will put to Stella. Then Stella might explain her views, her thoughts, what is her product, and then what are her product features. All these things might get explained. So this is called as the requirement gathering and also analysis. Like feasibility of the requirements implementation and all. Then the plan 2, meaning phase 2. In phase 2, determines the cost, resources, and risk. Am I audible, guys? Can anyone please confirm? Am I audible? Are you able to hear me?
We can hear.
Yes, thanks. Right. So, yes, fine. So, planning. Next, what? So, Stella explained what she want. Stella explained what she's looking for. Now, the Kane and then the John, who is the project manager of development, Kane, head of the development and operations team, and then Peter. These three guys now has to think about how they can plan. So especially in this phase, determines the cost and resources and risk. To implement these requirements, what Stella explained. So how much cost involved in it to complete the project? How many resources required for us? Resources, nothing but only the developers, testers, operations. No, resources meaning also includes the servers and all, right? And what is the risk involved in it? So she explained all these things. And do we have any risk there? For example, we committed to maybe this current state of the market. Just in case any one of the feature what she explained, we may have little doubt in implementing. What is the risk of it? And also the resources. For example, we quoted her to give the product in the 6 months. Maybe the resources available may not be available all the time. So what is the risk involved in it? Risk also they have to convey to the customer, right? So here Stella is the customer for this Kane, John, and then the Peter. So in this planning stage, resources required for implementing the product and risk associated with it will be analyzed and then planned. Meaning the plan phase will explain how the planning can be done for the product implementation or for the features implementation or for the application implementation. Especially risk also we need to note down our risk we should have to put in front of the customer as well. So this may be the risk in your requirements. We will take this risk later in time, or maybe this risk we might get occur. You have to be opt for it. So kind of pre-preparation we have to do for the customer to accept the risk as well, because every day will not be the smooth day, isn't it? So that's the reason the planning will explain about the resources required for implementing the product and then the risk associated with it. Next, design. So once the planning is done, meaning the resources identified, for example, this requirements can be implemented by, so they will identify like this. So maybe they might have identified like this, right? So maybe we can take 1 year of time to deliver. Maybe we required the 15 resources and we required the 3 architects and we required the 2 project managers. Like this, maybe they were identify the resources, risk and all. So after the planning phase, in design phase, architects will start designing the software based on the inputs from previous phase. So in the previous phase, the sales team or the delivery managers or the project managers will work closely with the customer, and then they will take as basically business analyst will be there. So business analyst is the guy who will work close with the customer and then get the requirements. So this is the job of the business analyst, basically, meaning requirements gathering is the business analyst job, but requirements planning is the job of the delivery manager, project managers, right? So requirements gathering will be the job of the business analyst, but requirements planning, implementation, planning will be the job of the project managers, delivery managers, and etc. So once after the requirements are planned, gathered, then architects will prepare the design document. So this design document will be the roadmap for the developers to start their development, right? So the how many, basically if it is a development or deployment, how the life cycle will be, how the Jenkins architecture will be, just in case I'm saying, if any CI/CD pipeline to be implemented, then how many pipelines we can implement, and how many worker nodes we have to take, how many Jenkins master nodes we have to take. Do we need to use the Ansible here or not? Shall we go for Chef and Puppet, or shall we use the Docker and Kubernetes, or shall we use the any other tool in the pipeline? So all these things will be analyzed. All these things will be analyzed by the software architects, and they will prepare a document. They will prepare a document. So that document will be the roadmap for the developers. So for example, it will be like this. Let me go here. Let me show you something. One moment. Let me show you something. For example, if I give one document, yeah, maybe I might have given this document as for you. Not this one. One moment. Let me open the classroom and assume architect might have prepared a document, and then he have given the document like this. Yes, right. So he have given the document like this with the possible implementation structures and all. What is the Jenkins structure we have to take, and how many worker nodes we need, how many master nodes we need, what to be there and the worker, what to be there and the master. So he will prepare a document. So developers will use this document. Developers in the sense here, not only the code implementations developers here, DevOps engineers also might. I mean, my intention is, so developers and DevOps engineers are basically whoever, maybe testers, whatever it is, their architect, QA architect or DevOps architect. Especially here we are talking about Sdlc and all, right? So development related architects, and then the DevOps related. So far, DevOps is not come into the picture. So assume development related architect might have given the development architecture. So that development architecture, the development team will take. For example, let me open one of the development architecture, how it will be, just to showcase you. For example, one development architecture, I can show you just in a moment of time. Architecture, where is the architecture? Just to showcase you, I would like to show one architecture. Wireframes, codes, content. Let me search for it. Architecture, no. So just give me a moment. Let me search for one architecture documents. Okay, seems to be here. Yeah, here I have not added, but usually any architecture documents, the Uh, yeah, probably you can see this. Yeah. So probably the architects might have produced a document like how the architecture will be, right? Assume this is a simple architecture. Gateway should be there, and then microservices should be there, right? Like this, maybe they might have given an architecture, and this is one more architecture when there is the data integration problems will come, and then this maybe one more architecture for the database design, right? This is one more architecture for the event-driven patterns. This may be one more architecture for the streaming, right? This may be one more architecture for the logging. So like this, what will happen? The architects will produce a detailed document like this, whatever I am showing now, architecture and explanation, why that architecture has been chosen, the problem it does solves. So with all these things, they will prepare one document. So that document will be taken by the developers in the next phase, that is the development phase. So design, I believe you might understood, right? So in design, software architects will work and then design the documents. And also meanwhile, designers also will work and prepare the wireframes. Wireframes meaning what? Wireframes meaning, of course, designing, here two things, guys. Designing meaning don't go into a situation like UI designing. No, it is not. It is designing meaning product designing, not UI designing, not backend designing, not uh, front end designing. No, it is complete product designing. How the product will be implemented, what is its architecture, and what best architecture we can choose based on the requirements that were given. So this is that kind of architecture design. So next development phase will be started. In this development phase, the developers will use the design document. So here developers will involve backend developers, front-end developers, and also UI UX designers. So these three guys will be involved here. So those UI UX designers will prepare the wireframes. Wireframes, nothing but the HTML markup pages. For example, if you can see, not here, just scroll down. So here, wireframes meaning they will give us the already, they will develop the HTML, CSS and all, but it is a static one. Just there will be no database connectivity, nothing, but they will prepare the page like login, everything. So these are all wireframes. I can show this just. Yeah, so these are all the wireframes. Like they can prepare the assets, pages, HTMLs, right? So index.html. I'm not sure whether I can open it or, but just let me download it quickly. So once it downloads, just let me showcase it. So wireframes contains what? The designing of the application. So how the login page will be, how the dashboard will be, how the registration will be. So all these things uh, they will design, but it is a static pages. Nothing will be there inside in it. It's a static pages, meaning nothing will be there inside in it, meaning there will be no database connectivity. There will be no continuity of the actions. For example, after sign up, we have to go to login page. After login, we have to see the dashboard based on the role that we were assigned. So such kind of a flow-matic, is not there. Just a design of the pages will be done like this. So let me go and then showcase. Sorry. Yes, let me go and then showcase. Click on OK. Yes. Now this is one of the design. So what they have given, when I click on this customers, how the customers will be. Now one page we got UI elements, cards, meaning basically this is a template I have taken, but they will implement the full functionality related links. For example, when we click on the categories and what category page should have to come here, how the categories page is, right? So all these things the designers will implement, and accordingly developers will start their backend development, and the front-end engineers like Angular, React.js engineers will take these mockups and then start preparation of the dynamic application, like creating the React application for these mockups and all. This mockups is a static one. So for the static one, they will add the actions to talk to the backend APIs and all. Right? Yes, correct. There will be a no business logic in the wireframes. Exactly correct. Right? So this is what happened inside the development phase. Designers will design and development will start developing the backend code, which contains the business logic, core business logic. When the backend code will be implemented, then the front-end engineers will consume that backend code. So I thought of showcasing you one more architecture document just to give you the more clarity on it, but seems to be I have not uploaded those architectural documents here. Yeah, here are. Yes. Yeah, so this is the final draft of the architecture. Yeah, see this. This is one of the architecture. So here is the AngularJS, React.js, mobile application, POS devices, no matter what they are, they will call the backend APIs via the load balancer and then the API gateway, meaning using DNS. DNS meaning, for example, google.com, facebook.com, that is called as DNS. Using DNS, these guys will call the APIs, and APIs will not directly given to them. APIs will be given to them by the gateway. The gateway will verify the authenticity, authorization of each and every request, and then only talk to the backend APIs using the client-side load balancing and then give the response back. So this is the architecture, how the backend. So backend developers will start developing these backend logics. UI developers, meaning the front-end developers like Angular developer, React developer will start developing this one. This Angular developer, React developer require the wireframes. Those wireframes will be start developing by the designers. So all these things will be taken place in the development phase. So once the development is done, then the testing will be happened. In this phase, software will be tested by the testers for any bugs and defects, any bugs or defects. So software will be promoted to production only after the fixing the issues. Production are next stages. Like after QA, there will be a pre-prod or user acceptance test, right? Or system acceptance test, right? So once after that is done, then go for the production. There were various, again, stages involved there. But in testing phase, the software testers will test the product that is developed by the developers in the previous phase. And then if there will be any issue, any bug, then the developers, whatever they developed code will not be moved to the users to access the application. That is called production. Rather, they will prepare a document. Every stage will produce one document, guys. Every stage will produce this set of document, one or more documents. That documents will be used for further reference, because the team developers may be there, may not be there, right? You may work for 6 months, you may leave the company. I may work for 3 months, I may leave the company, but the documents will be there forever. Whoever coming into the project will understand the things, what the things happened by looking at the document. So every stage, every phase will produce one or more documents. So here, test case documents, test case results will be produced by these testers. Then finally, Assume these guys were implemented the features in the sense the application features like user registration, email sending, OTP verification, login, after login dashboard, and groceries showing, adding the groceries selected to the cart, and then payment success, and then delivery note, and then delivery tracking, finally delivery of the groceries. Entire thing, all these things. So how it will be, all these things, features will be tested by the software testers. So then once everything is goes well, then the deployment will get started. So at this phase, the software is deployed to the production environment. So end users, there are two terms, customer and customer. Customer and customer. Customer meaning here, customer meaning when we look at this software company point of view, Stella is the customer for these guys. But the users who are using the Stella's app are the end users for this company, right? So end users, nothing but the actual users, real users like you and me, who can use the app by downloading it from the Play Store. So deployment phase will ensure that the product developed will be available to the customers, end customers, I mean to say end users. So who will do this deployment? System admins will deploy the software in production. So it is the responsibility of the system administrators and entire operations team to make sure the software is up and running all the time. So system administrators, operations team, what they will do? They will, purchase the cloud machines, and then in the cloud machines, they will deploy the code or application. Then they'll make sure the application is continuously up and running. So it is the responsibility of the system administrators and then the operations team. So far, if we can see, everyone in the team has involved in each and every phase, at least one of the phases, right? Phase one is requirement analysis, where the business analyst involved more. Phase two is the planning, where the delivery manager, project managers involved more. Phase three is the design, software architects involved more. Phase four is the development, where the developers, designers, UX, UI designers, UI developers, backend developers were involved there. And then the testing, QA guys are involved. And then the deployment, IT and operations team is involving, right? Just to complete one simple product, a grocery shop product. So these many departments are involving, these many people are involving, these much of coordination is important also, right? When QA team is there, when development team is there, architect team is there, project management team is there, BA is there, IT is there, operations is there, system admins is there. All these guys needs to coordinate properly. Then only it will go smooth. Otherwise, it will be like nightmare for us. Correct? So then finally the maintenance. So it is the balanced between the regular changes and uptime, meaning the developers might do the regular changes of the code, and that regular changes, within how much time the regular changes will be enabled for the end user. For example, end user when using, someone is reporting that they got the email, but when they entered the OTP, it's not working for them. Here the trick is that problem is for only few customers, not for all the customers. Maybe few customers reported delivery status is not showing, delivery tracking is not showing. So while the users are using the application, they may raise a number of concerns, questions, bugs, and all. So development team will always do the changes to them. And then those changes, fixes need to be again available to the end customers. So that is called as an uptime. So how frequent uptime it is? Every 3 days we will do a new release. Every 4 days we will do a new release, right? How the new release, how the uptime will be, right? So that will be the representing by this maintenance team. So again, this maintenance team will do the things like system admins only, system admins, network, operations, IT. These are all the guys who will maintain the product basically. So their job is to check the application system's health, meaning we deployed the application. So what I mean to say is maybe, let me go here. Just let me draw one simple diagram. Application we implemented, right? So let's say this is what the application we have implemented. So this application is well and good, but this application we need to deploy in the servers, isn't it? For example, let me come here. Yeah, this is the application we implemented, but this application to be accessed by the customers, this application need to put in somewhere. So where do we put it? This application need to put in somewhere, right? For example, Linux. So let us put it into the Linux. Linux of what? AWS cloud. So let us use the AWS cloud cluster, right? So when we kept this application or running in this, what is the system's health? For example, it is the system is 100 GB machine, whether the 100 GB of its hard disk filled or not. This machine with the 16 GB, with the 16 GB, how many requests it is successfully processing. All these are all the maintenance phase will come up. All these things will come in the maintenance phase. Like they will verify the system health and all. They will verify the system health, progress of the system, how it is working and all. They will verify, right? So maintenance stage will talk about the system's health, performance, uptime with the regular changes. So this entire process is called as now software development process, software development life cycle process, we can say. Software development life cycle, right? So requirement analysis and then planning, then design, then coding or development, then testing, then deployment, then maintenance. Again, when any new requirement will come, again requirement analysis and gathering and analysis, design, coding, testing, deployment, and then maintenance. So this cycle will be continuous like this. So that is the reason this is called as a software development life cycle. Hope you understand every phase. Now, this software development life cycle will be achieved by the various models. So those are called as the Sdlc models. Sdlc models are like roadmap. See this diagram, see this figure. There were many roadmaps to reach one destination only, right? So this is the destination, or maybe this is the destination. So to go to this destination, we may go like this, someone may come like this, someone may come like this, someone may come, whatever it is. But their final destination is same. The final destination is same, that is Sdlc. So to implement that Sdlc, we may have a different Sdlc models. So these models we may take based on the cost, based on the risk, based on the shortest path of implementation, based on easy of implementation, other factors as well. So based on all these factors, there were a different models to implement this Sdlc are available. Those are all Waterfall model, Agile model, Spiral model, Big Bang, etc. There were a lot of models, but we will look at these two, meaning we will try to understand these two models. Okay, we'll try to understand these two models. We never discuss about the other models, but we'll try to understand these two models. Right? What are the Sdlc models? Sdlc is a destination. Model is a roadway, like in which road you will reach that target or destination of Sdlc implementation is nothing but what? This Sdlc models, right? So in that Sdlc models, the first one is the waterfall. So in waterfall model, what will happen? Let's see. Hope you understood so far the SDLC, right? I believe this is very, very important. Most of the people will confuse and will consider waterfall as SDLC model sometimes. So no, SDLC is a, no matter whatever the process you will take, agile you will go, waterfall you will go, spiral you will go, big bang you will go, or any other model you will go. But ultimate destination is this SDLC only. Software development life cycle only we need to achieve. Okay, so now let us see the waterfall model and then complexity in this waterfall model and all. So in a waterfall model, what will happen? Each phase will, in a waterfall model, each phase will must be completed. Each phase will be must be completed before starting the another phase. Before starting the another phase or another, before starting the next phase, we can say. Before starting the next phase, the previous phase should have to completely completed, right? So that means what? Requirements gathering and requirement gathering and analysis is analysis completes, then only the planning will start. Then only the planning will start. Once planning completes, then only the designing of the product will start, right? So once designing is completed, once designing is completed, then the developers will start the development. Developers will start the coding or development or implementation. These are all the same forms. Next, once coding is done, right? So once coding is done, complete, once complete product coding is done, right? Then once complete coding is done, then the complete product features will be tested. See how the pain point is. Assume I have the 10 features. 10 features I have. Once after completed all 10 features completely without pending any, including unit test cases, integration test cases, once everything is completed, then only the testing phase will be started. That means the testers will test, right? Then while the testers will say test, the developers will sit idle. And when the testers will give the issues, then developers will fix it. And then again, it will be give for the testing. So these two phases are back and back, repeated phases, back to back phases. These are repeated phases. So once the testing will be done, as soon as testing completed, all the features will be deployed. All the features will be deployed into the production servers, and the maintenance will started. And then maintenance will be started. So this is what the waterfall model. So what we understood in this phase, right? It will be very difficult. I think once after analyzed all these things, we can write like this. So in this phase, it is a very difficult. It is very difficult to go back and do the changes. Go back and do the changes if something went wrong or if something that was not well sorted out in plan, right? So it is difficult to go back and do the changes if a feature needs to be changed. A feature needs to be changed. For example, customer said when we are at the requirement analysis phase, customer said Stella said, I want a login with the OTP. Now, after everything is completed, when the product went to the production, not in production, at least when the product is in the testing phase, the OTP is difficult for the customers to enter all the time. So Stella again come back to us and I don't want OTP. Please remove that and keep only the password authentication. That feature needs to be, in order to embed or in order to do that, it will take a lot of time. Again, we need to do the requirement analysis, meaning change analysis we need to do. Again, we need to do the design changes. Again, we need to do the coding. Again, we need to do the testing. So it is very difficult to adapt the changes in this model. Very difficult to adapt the changes in this model, right? Working software will be delivered to the customer. Working a very long time, after a very long time, after a very long time, after a very long time, uh, after a very long time, once after completed all the features, very long time, once after all the product the how her product is completed. Assume the for this waterfall, I'm saying here is assume Stella expecting a apple. So not this one. Stella expected an apple, but we prepared orange, right? Then how the pain point for Stella, how she will digest that, right? So she can't digest it. So she expected it as the apple, but after we not this one waterfall model, once after the testing is completed, then waterfall model, let me take a good document. Waterfall model, yes, once after this is completed, yeah, let me take this picture, right? So one moment, not this one, just let me take any other picture. This is requirement analysis, this is clean. Let me take this picture.
So once the requirements analysis phase is completed, then only it will go for the design, and then only it will go for the implementation, then only it will go for the testing and all, right? So this is what this phase, right? So this is what the waterfall model is. So in this waterfall model, what will happen? Customer will see the end product after a so long time, once after completed all the phases. I have given requirements, I have a trust on the company. I just have seen my product after 1 year, 2 years back, 2 years later. But I expected an apple at the moment of giving the requirement, but I got the orange. Definitely customer will disappoint. Then customer will start asking, no, I am expecting apple, but you give an orange. So do these changes, do that changes. Then what we'll do? No. When we done the requirement analysis at the initial phases, we prepared the requirement analysis document, understanding document, you approved it. And now you are asking us to change after 2 years of time. It is very difficult for us. This is from our end, meaning from the software company end. So what will happen? The customer relation will get damaged, right? If this situation will come, like, the customer is expecting apple, but we have given orange. If this situation will come, then definitely misunderstanding or misperception will come. So that damage the customer relationships, correct? So that's the reason this waterfall model definitely not suitable for the implementation of the large scale products, which might take, the product implementation might take years and years. In such case, the waterfall model definitely not suitable, right? Let's say I have given 50 requirements to you. To implement that 50 requirements you have given me, you will take 3 years. I can't come back after 3 years, right? I have to be in touch with you every week, every day, if possible, every week, every month. I have to ask you, hey, how is my product? How much it is completed? Where it is now? Can I show the current? Can I see the current state of the product? Right. So I would be like this, so that I can modify my product at any moment of time if it is going in a wrong direction, or maybe initially being a human being, day one we may get thought one, day two we may get thought two, day three we may get the changes in the thought one, right? So the changes needs to be adapted. Such model is what? Agile SDLC. Such model is what? Agile SDLC. So about this Agile SDLC, let us see tomorrow. So that's all for today, guys. I will upload these notes right away to the classroom. Any questions for me in the SDLC and in the waterfall model understanding? Or else any general questions also you can ask me. Any questions? Yeah. Okay, can you explain what is exactly API and API target gateway? Okay, don't forget about this one. Sir, don't worry about these things, Mahesh, right now. API target gateway, forget about this one. So API, in the sense, when we ask something, for example, this one, let me ask for fake REST APIs. So this is one API. API in the sense which will give us some data. So I want the data is in the server. So from the server, see, albums, photos are in the server. So I want to take the photos from the server. So the photos, all the photos will be given on this URL. This is nothing but an API, right? For example, I want the photo 2 or photo 3, only photo 3 I will get from the server. The server photos are there. I want to see the photo 3. I want to see the photo 1, or I want to see all the photos. So the link URL, which is giving the data for us, is called as an API here. Okay, probably got it, right? Right. Any more questions for me? Anything
Sir,
else? Any more questions?
So we have class on 24.
24. So yeah, 24th is Monday, Diwali, right? So no class on Diwali.
Yes.
Yes, Diwali holiday will be there. So no class on Diwali. Again, we'll be back on 25th. Fine.
Okay, sir.
So right. Any questions? Okay.
Hello.
That's all, guys. Thanks.
Tomorrow we have class? No.
Yeah. Tomorrow let us have the class.
Am I
Usually,
Saturday, right? That's why I'm asking 7:15 or
same time, 7:15, same time, because we are now going with the demos, right? Demos in the sense we are now going with the theoretical understanding of, the models, Sdlc and all, right? So let us have the class tomorrow. And then let us complete the agile model tomorrow, because once we complete agile model tomorrow, then we will get the picture about, the DevOps and all. What is the need of DevOps? So let us discuss agile tomorrow. And then Tuesday, we will discuss what exactly is DevOps is and how the DevOps is related to these models. So that we'll discuss on Tuesday. Then probably from the next Thursday onwards, let us start the Linux. Right, so that is the roadmap. Any questions for me?
Yes, sir. From my side.
Okay, fine.
So actually, I wanted to ask you that is after completion this course DevOps, how many years of experience we can put in our profile? Actually,
Okay.
already I have spent much more years, almost 10 years experience. Okay, I'm working in a good organization as a L2 and L3 support. Okay.
Okay.
So I have understanding of Linux, shell scripting, core Python, CoreJava, as well as Oracle, as well as SQL. Okay. So actually, right now I wanted to switch my career in some core domain like DevOps, okay, AWS. So is this good for me, or should I continue as a L2, L3 application support, production support?
Okay. So there is nothing harm in learning, first of all, right? So as you are working on L2, L3 support side, support side may be opportunities, maybe less. I don't know how it will be, honestly, because I was not at support side. So it is definitely not harm in learning. But what I can say is once you learn this DevOps course completely, fully, because the same questions were asked by the various people in other batches as well. But end of the day, what happened, they at one moment of time, they were frustrated. Why? Because, they didn't get a chance to practice properly. What I mean is listening the classes, and then when you are listening, usually when we are listening the class, it will be very good. You may ask number of questions, I may answer, but unless you guys won't practice, nothing will come in play for sure. So what happened, one guy I'll explain. I'll take an example. So he was also from the complete non-IT background. At the time when he was joined, he asked the same question. I said same thing. Yes, it will be helpful if you can join and then practice well. But somehow that guy didn't attend the classes regularly, didn't practice. And what happened, if we don't attend the classes for 3 to 4 days, it is very tough for us to see the 3 to 4 days videos at a time. That is the problem. So the same problem occurs to that man. What happened, day 3, assume he was not attended. Day 10, he was attended. So he is from the non-IT background completely. Day 10, how he will understand the things?
Correct.
So that is the gap occurred. So if you will be confident enough to handle that situations, yes, you will be definitely join and then get benefit from this for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So for DevOps, means personal PC is required, or on AWS we can practice this, or any software required to install in my personal computer?
I'll explain all those things, how we will go with, but nothing will be in our local. In our local, we will
actually, as of now, I have no local PC, so that I am asking, because I have an official PC, so I cannot install anything. Okay, but somewhere they are saying that on AWS we will install all those things and we can practice it. So is it possible on all those things in AWS, or I need to purchase one PC?
Okay, so basically everything, our platform is AWS. Everything we will do on the AWS only. Okay, that is first thing. Second thing is what? To connect to the cloud, we two options we have. Either we need to install the client tools, like whatever I'm showing, or else we can also directly connect to the AWS consoles, AWS machines from the AWS browser itself only. Meaning from the browser itself only we can connect to the machines. But it is very good feasibility if we can install the clients like this. So if your system doesn't support installing the clients and all, then you can also access the instances from the browser. But browser view, browser experience is not that much of feasible for us.
Okay.
I have a question.
So may I know
Yes.
what is the software name so that I will ask my organization may I install or not? You are saying that.
Yeah, the softwares, we will install the GitHub and source tree, then Git for Windows, then Jenkins, then SonarQube, then JFrog. These are all not installed. We don't install. We will install all these things in the cloud. But what we require in your machine is just ask them to give this mobile extern. That's it. This one is good enough.
Okay.
I have a
So
question.
okay, sir. Actually, may I know? Suppose I want to purchase any laptop, and then what should be the configuration? Good configuration, like
Yeah.
how many RAM? So
Yeah.
that
So I suggest 8 GB RAM, Core i5, 8 GB RAM, Core i5. Of course, hard disk they will give as per the specification, and go for any of your choice like Lenovo or maybe any other. But I love use Lenovo because since last 8 years I'm using Lenovo. Lenovo, the material, the out material is not that much standard, but the performance of the machines I have seen is good. Of course, performance is based on this i5 and then 8 GB. No matter whatever the product it is, Lenovo or Dell, whatever it is, but make sure it will be minimum 8 GB. If you will purchase if you can be able to afford 16 GB, that is really awesome. 16 GB with i7, that is excellent. It will be forever. But 8 GB with i5 is also good enough for us.
So can you suggest any particular name of the laptop of Lenovo, if you know?
Yeah, so Lenovo ThinkPad is the best one. Lenovo ThinkPad. Just look at Lenovo ThinkPad. Lenovo ThinkPad, or if you can afford, Apple will be always super poor. If you can afford. MacBook. I mean to say MacBook. Got
Okay,
it?
sir. Thank you. I will try as you suggested. Obviously,
Sure.
I will try to do my
Sure.
side.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah,
Biplab.
please.
Although, sir, we have completed AWS. My question is, as you are taking this DevOps class like separately for people, so if someone like complete DevOps only, like if they don't go for AWS, can they continue or they have to learn AWS?
Yeah. So meaning they already have completed DevOps.
Suppose if I'm talking about a new person, like new on non-IT or IT, whatever, but he doesn't have any experience on knowledge on AWS.
Okay.
So if he starts from DevOps, then
yes, they can start from the DevOps. But the what in DevOps what we'll do is, in DevOps what we'll use, maximum we will take maximum work we will work on the AWS instances.
Okay.
AWS instances.
And
AWS
we are talking, right?
Correct. EC2 instances, correct.
Okay.
So these we will set up.
Okay.
But kind of load balancers, LBs, right? Or DNS or certificate manager. Definitely to enable all these things, definitely go for the AWS complete things. Okay. In our DevOps, what we'll do? We'll do the CI/CD. We'll do the CI/CD. So continuous deployment we'll do in the Kubernetes cluster. So how the cluster will be? Cluster will be with the LB, cluster will be with the DNS, cluster will be with the certificate manager. These are all again we can do with the Kubernetes or we can do with the AWS. So mostly we'll do with the AWS. So this this additional parts to make it more enterprise, we need the AWS services. But most of the services we will use here is the AWS EC2. Makes sense, sir? Am I answered?
Yes, sir. So
Yeah.
actually, another thing, like only learning DevOps, like how much people can earn, like after this class. Like I think you can show 3 to 4 years of experience, as you said earlier.
In every batch, I will say the guys can put 5 years of up to 5 years of experience. You can show, even if you are experienced support, you can put 6 years as well. I'm not overconfident, but the way the work we will do, with that work you can manage till 5 or 6 years, whatever. But again, it is based on your supporting experience. So 3, if you completely follow me, meaning not you, mean the sense you guys, entire your batch, if you completely follow me, you will be equivalent to 5 to 6 years of experience, okay, for sure.
Sir, I like the way you experience, but I mean like practical thing. But sometimes I think like theoretically things is also needed, like how a people your demonstration is too good into practicals. Like if a guy needs to do how to do that, he can go for that easily. I think theoretical is also there, but I think like some part of theoretical things, if you then that would be good.
Yeah, sure. That's the reason.
Actually,
If
initial
you
days
can
you
see,
did that, like when we started the class, and when that people were like everyone were talking, like you took it in a disciplined way, so that everyone can talk in a particular manner after the class. So
correct.
that interactive session, I didn't feel that thing. I think you were actually doing that earlier.
Correct. Actually, 2 things here. Theory, definitely sure. Theory we can get anywhere. My gut feeling is, if practical understanding is there will be 100 books to understand the theory around it. That is what my
practical, like
but
there is no other content available excluding you in like YouTube also, like your content.
That's true. That's the reason. So definitely I will take up this. So theoretical, the thing is what, completion is also very important, right? So what I will do is most of the cases theory and all, actually previous batches I already have prepared the theory and all. But yes, I'll take up that. I got the point. So little bit of addition of the theory is also good. I'll do that. Let us try to do that.
When you plan for Terraform, as you said, a Terraform specific batch, you will open like for a longer session. I mean,
Terraform. You mean to say new batch of Terraform?
No. You, as you said earlier, no. So Terraform, you will cover whatever there was in content, and complete Terraform. You said that is a vast thing. You said that day. So
Terraform is done. Completed Terraform.
Like whatever Terraform was there, that is complete, or is there anything left actually? That I'm asking.
No. Whatever there in our course content, that is completely completed.
That is all. That is completed. I mean, like, sir, is there anything left in Terraform which is not covered?
Obviously, there were a lot of things in Terraform. That's what. There were a lot of things.
I'm asking that, sir. To learn all those extra things what was not covered in our syllabus, you are saying like you will take a separate batch for that. Are you going to take that as soon, like or in a month or 2?
Yeah. Soon I will take a separate batch. I will take. It's a new batch altogether. It's a different batch. Yes, I'm planning for that. People are asking. I'm planning for that. I'm about to complete my evening batches. Maybe in next 10 days mostly. Okay. So after that, the evening slots will be free. So then I can plan something in evening times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a question,
Yes.
simple question. Sorry, I missed your first session. So actually, I have gone through your YouTube demo videos, which are already there in the YouTube. So there I heard you're stating that your complete course will be like around 4.5 months. So is this the same course? Because there they mentioned DevOps with AWS, but here I see it's only DevOps. So I'm a little confused.
Exactly true. So let me give that. So it's 4.5 months I take. I have explained. I told. So in this, we completed AWS. AWS took around 50 days.
Okay.
50 days. 50 days it took.
45
50 days to 60 days, I believe. Not 60 days. 60 days, sir?
45 days, sir.
45 days, yes. 45 days it took.
Okay.
Then
okay.
what else are left? That we will put here, because I quoted 120 days. 120 days to around 135 days I quoted. So already 45 gone. Then how many we
Okay.
have in hand? Maybe 75. Okay. So
Okay.
that's the reason this.
Okay, so I have no idea on AWS, so I'm a beginner. So I can continue with the DevOps and I can join whatever the cloud I can learn
Exactly.
later, right?
Exactly. Yeah, easily,
Okay.
easily. Because in DevOps, what we will do is we will work with the AWS EC2 instances. I'll explain how to take them, but in depth
Okay.
of it will be the different matter. So
Okay.
it is to work with this DevOps. Whatever the cloud required, we will take it as an underlying cloud platform. To talk in depth of it, once after this DevOps is completed as a continuation, I will start AWS. It is a cyclic one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it will be like this. Yeah.
Okay. So I can no matter. I mean, I can go with another cloud, right? Not only with AWS. So that doesn't
Exactly. If
have
you
impact.
exactly. Correct.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a question here.
Yeah.
So just two questions, sir. Recently, we've seen that in our whenever we started with DevOps in our industry, so the Docker was very heavily leveraged, right? So, but recently we are seeing that support for the Docker is over. So, what will be the future of Docker?
Okay. Two things here actually. What happened is the story. Docker internally.
Sir?
Hello. I think there is an network issue.
So Docker said they will.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
I think his internet is not available.
I think he might be changing the network.
So what I'm saying is,
Yes,
Docker used the CRI and container ready services. So, am I audible?
You're audible.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So what happened? After that they have made it as a commercial. But Kubernetes motto is what? Kubernetes is implemented by Google. Its motto is to make it as an open source, complete open source. Then there is a problem came, because Kubernetes is using by the companies who have the even lakhs of employees as well. But according to the terms and conditions, they have to pay for the Docker. Who have to pay now? Kubernetes will pay or the companies will pay? No one will pay. Kubernetes also, they don't want to pay. So what they have done, Kubernetes, rather than using Docker as the container runtime, they directly using the CRI and containerd, where Docker is using internally, right? CRI and then containerd. Now Kubernetes started using directly them without going through Docker.
Okay.
That is the way. But the concept is containerization concept is still will be there forever. So no matter whether we are using Docker, whether we are using any other container management tool, but containerization technique we need to learn. That
is
is
there
what
any alternative of Docker? You mean?
Sorry?
Is there any alternative of Docker? You mean?
There were a lot. Alternative of the Docker, there were a lot of tools alternative to the Docker, which will give us the container technology, container management technology. So we have to learn that container management techniques, no matter today it is Docker, maybe tomorrow something, right? So, but for now, as most commonly used tool is Docker, so we also go with the Docker and then learn it. We are not learning the Docker tool here. That means we are learning the concept of the container management, image packaging, container networking. The concepts we have to focus. These are common everywhere.
And sir, a follow-up question on that. So sir, recently what is happening is like we are seeing that the cloud native applications, right? So sir, the cloud native, when we are talking even we are deploying the like when in DevOps we are deploying the applications on cloud services.
Correct.
So is there any difference between the cloud native and the services we are deploying on Dockers?
Basically, the cloud native concept meaning what, it should be worked everywhere. For example, I prepared one Docker image. I have to run it as a container everywhere, no matter what's the cloud it is. AWS, Alibaba, Azure, whatever it is. I should be able to run everywhere. That is the concept of cloud native. The cloud native we are achieving because of this containerization. Because containerization doesn't depend upon the cloud. Containerization will depend upon its own containerization technique. That means if we set up the Azure Docker, if we set up the Docker on AWS, if we set up the Docker on GCP, if we set up the Docker on Azure, then Docker will use its own containerization engine, containerization technique. So no matter what is the underlying cloud is, the underlying cloud we are using for just storing the data on it. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's true. Any more questions for me? Okay. Thanks a lot, folks. Again, see you tomorrow at the same time. That is 7:15 a.m. No class on 24th. Again, we'll be meet you on the Tuesday at the same time. So tomorrow we have the class. Thanks a lot. Stopping for now, leaving for the day.
Thank you, sir.